Let's speak to Joel Griffith. He's a research fellow at the Heritage Foundation in Washington. Joel, good to have you with us. So the US government is trying to help those who've lost their jobs and businesses that have had to shut their doors. It's passed a number of relief bills. Are these helping?
Some of these bills are helping more than others. I think maybe we should start with the bad first. That was the unemployment package that was passed about a month ago that gives $600 per week in additional federal benefits. When you add those new benefits onto the state unemployment benefits, you have a situation in which many people, in some areas more than half of people that have been laid off, are actually earning more not working than they were on the job. And we're already seeing that in some counties and cities and states that are reopening. That's acting as a tremendous disincentive to people actually going back to work. And that could have a drag on the recovery. So this is something Congress needs to resolve. We want to help those that are going through tough times right now. And there are a lot of people going through tough times, but we need to make sure it's done in a way that won't elongate this economic misery that so many people are going through.
Here in Europe, a lot of the governments are paying businesses a proportion of their workers' salaries so that workers remain employed rather than being laid off. Is that not a better model?
In some ways, that actually does have some benefits, some advantages to what we're doing here. For instance, in Denmark, the government there is paying 90% of the salary of employees who otherwise would have been laid off. In France, I think they're paying close to about 87%. And what that's doing in this situation, when you've had this very rapid freeze where governments are telling businesses they can't operate, the hope is that you'll actually have these individuals still be there in place so that when these businesses are given the green light to operate, they can quickly come back to work. Yeah, these businesses, it can be complicated, even with a small business, even if you're running a bar or a restaurant, and especially as you get into more complicated industries, you spend a lot of time building that team. And when you suddenly disperse everyone, especially in a situation in the United States where you're paying people more to not work than to work, that is really making it difficult for businesses to get these teams back in place. So I think in some ways, Europe is actually going to have an advantage over us on the unemployment front temporarily. But longer term, I think the United States has an advantage because during this process, we've been rolling back a lot of meddlesome regulations that weren't helping safety, that weren't helping economic growth. And President Trump has announced an effort to go ahead and make a lot of those regulatory rollbacks permanent, whereas Europe is actually going in the other direction on the regulatory front right now. So longer term, that's going to be a big advantage to the United States.
Are there any signs that Congress might be changing its approach to this, though? Because that idea of a paycheck subsidy program, that was part of the $3 trillion bill passed by the House last week.
Well, there's some nuance on this. There doesn't seem to be much of a bipartisan drive to actually fix this unemployment benefit problem. Right now, those benefits of $2,400 per month are on top of state benefits are going to go through the end of July. The Democratic package actually would extend that those problematic benefits all the way through the end of the year. So I think what you're seeing now is you're seeing a bit of a stalemate where those benefits are likely to continue through July and then expire. And that'll be to the benefit of the economy overall. Once again, we should take care of those that are impacted by this, and we have to do it the right way. And I think there were some in pushing for these $600 per week benefits. There were some that were hoping this would indeed effectively result in a shutdown in a lot of states that are actually trying to reopen. That's not right. It's not right for the federal government to basically do a backdoor effort to force states to keep their economy closed.
Joel, interesting stuff. Thank you very much indeed for that. Joel Griffith in Washington there.